Shit, I gotta take it. Oh, 6 people. Look at that. Would you look at that? All right. Well, good morning, guys. Aren't you guys all excited to continue the day with Nunez and more importantly, continue the day with calculus? How's your day going so far, guys? How's it all going? Says my speaker's not working. 1 second, hold on. Oh, that's why. That's okay. Can you guys hear me? But I cannot hear you. Can someone speak to make sure?
Yes.
There we go. Perfect. Perfect. All right. Second period with Nunez. Isn't that exciting? Isn't that exciting? I can tell that Shirley and really, Shirley, you're going to use that background?
You just that's because you didn't think of it.
Okay, well, that's fine. I got this background anyway, so that's totally fine. Just a heads up, you are still going to get the best education, even though, you know, the team behind me is playing. I got something in the background going on, so I'll be multitasking in a way, but you guys will be my main focus irregardless. I'm glad that everyone is registered to my Google Classroom. Has it actually, I know one student said that he couldn't, but I think I saw everyone there. Are there any questions about my Google Classroom? Because I'm going to go over everything firsthand. Besides Ariana, who thought she had a question and then decided not to ask a question. Okay, then. All right. So, yes, I didn't give you guys work per se. What I did instead is I gave you guys stuff to look over because, yes, you do have a test next Monday. Okay, whether you guys like it or not, okay? Because I want to see what you guys know. I want to see what you guys are capable of. I have 11 kids. Who was added to my class? So let me actually take attendance. Ariana, you're good. McAgore, Jasmine, Joshua. There he is. Shirley, Myra, Dennis, Miguel, Blanca, Teresita. Who's the kid that I did not? Miguel.
It includes you, mister.
No, because I have 10. See, I have 10. I can count. Look, I have 10.
Oh, okay, then my bad.
Yeah.
It's Heidi, student.
Say that again?
I think it's Heidi, the one that's the new student in your roster.
Got it. Is Heidi it? Got it. Okay, then I will add Heidi. I'll print a new one for sure. Cool. All right, so we're marking everyone present. Okay, so the thing is, I know it stinks that I cannot physically see you guys, and I know it stinks that, you know, I cannot help you guys out personally. I know the reputation here for AP Calc is, well, if you just take the class and you make Nunez happy, you'll be fine. Whatever about the test. No, because I want everyone to pass. Right, Myra?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you, Myra. Okay. And out of everyone, I'm not going to point fingers, but out of everyone here, when I posted everything over on Friday over the weekend, the only person that was asking questions about my material, not so much about the math, but more so, hey, can you update this? Hey, can you update that? Was Myra. Okay. This is not going to be the class where if you guys expect me to teach you guys everything and then you guys just do stuff on your own, like without reviewing the material, this is not gonna be the class for you, okay? I can guarantee it, 100%, okay? It is in a way gonna be a self-teaching kind of class, okay? And I'm gonna guide this class more so, there's gonna be no solid textbook, okay? Everything's gonna be online, even when we go back to school. Even when we physically go back to school, you will not have a textbook. Everything's still gonna be online, irregardless, okay? So my advice to you guys, okay, is to have a quaderno, okay? I don't think I see it, right? Use a notebook to take certain notes, okay, and have it separate from all of your other notebooks. Keep that in mind for sure, okay? Let me show you guys my screen real quick to show you guys the Google Classroom and all that fun stuff. I'm glad that, by the way, everyone has their camera on because that makes me super duper happy. And the best part is about how I've got my setup is even though, yeah, I'm going to share my screen, I can still see everyone. So I'm going to drag this over here, and I can still see Theta smiling. I can still see Jasmine bored. I can still see Shirley's, because there's more than one, you know, paying attention, being very attentive. Myra's half head with her hoodie and her headphones. I can still see it, right? Even though I'm looking at you here, I can still see it over there. That's not going to change. Miguel's like ghost face. It's still there, all right? Let me share with you guys everything, okay? First things first, all the homework and all that stuff will be here, okay? I did update this, by the way, the AP Calculus Subject Review. So when you click on this, okay, this is not going to be homework, essentially, okay? What the heck? Let's see, how can I do this? Let's go to edit, it's great. Okay, so for this right here, okay, I've updated the white box and also this right here, the HBC stuff. Okay, this has all the worked out solutions, okay? So I'm gonna have this part of the textbook, okay, two parts, right? I'm gonna cover all the problems that we're gonna go over and I'm gonna explain those, okay? And notice how all the work that the page loads one of these days, well, it should load, I hope. All the work is gonna be there. Let's see if I can try another one. There we go. Okay, so like this one right here, right? Notice how 7.1, I had the white box that I gave you guys over the weekend. All the work is going to be done for you guys, and it's done in detail. It's explained to you guys, okay? So what I'm going to do with my lectures in particular is I'm going to use the white box stuff in order for me to go over stuff with you guys, okay? So everything that's covered, I'm going to go over with you guys one by one, okay? I'm going to go over every problem as much as I can. So if you notice this right here, I'm going to do the work on here. And the cool thing about my laptop is I can write on my laptop, okay? So all the work that you see will be presented on here. That's number one, okay? There will be material that you do need to read on your own, okay? And this will come from CIG, and that's gonna be the textbook, okay? I've only given you guys 3 chapters so far because all we're doing is just review, okay? So you guys in a way are responsible for reading chapters 2, 3, and 4, okay? Chapter 2 talks about polishing your algebra skills, okay? Chapter 3 talks about equations, relations, and functions. And the last chapter covers trigonometry. And that is a supplement to the book of calculus that we're going to be going over, okay? There's one other thing, okay? And this will be this. This will essentially be your homework per se, but there's going to be no homework this week, okay? The only thing that you guys are going to do is study for your test that's coming up, okay? So I'm giving you guys this so you can use to review. There's 2 chapters out of this, the algebra review, as well as the trigonometry review. So that you're on your own. And there are solutions for those too. I will post those as the class goes along, okay? And most likely for these, because there's a lot of solutions, I'll post those over the weekend, okay, for those. So this week, I'm giving you guys a whole bunch of stuff for you guys to go over, okay? Are there any questions? Okay, you do have a quiz also that is due tomorrow, I believe. Yeah, it's due tomorrow at midnight, okay? All my quizzes and all my tests are also gonna be online and they're also going to be timed, okay? I'm a stickler, a huge stickler for windows, okay? I hate, and loopholes. If you think of a loophole, I'm gonna take that loophole and crunch it, okay? I hate loopholes because I think quicker than you guys, okay? So how the quiz is going to work, okay? You click on the link, you know, you'll type in your name and then you're gonna type in the password and the password will be in the description. So for this right here, it's gonna be called First Quiz, okay? And here's the quiz, okay? Notice how the quiz is all in front of you, okay? And also notice how there's a timer. Okay, and notice how it says answers will be auto-submitted when time expires. You only have one try to do the quiz, okay? One try to do the quiz. Each quiz is gonna be 30 minutes, and the quiz will be done on your own, okay? Meaning that whenever we meet, whenever we have our Zoom sessions, we're not gonna use that time to do quizzes, okay? That is on your own, okay? The link is gonna be there, okay? When we meet together, we're lecturing, okay? We're lecturing and we're answering questions. I'm not gonna waste time for me to sit here and watch you guys click stuff. That's not gonna happen. The same goes for tests. When we have tests, we're not gonna have a Zoom session either. Instead, you're just gonna click on the link, and you have also a few days to do it. So you don't have to do a test or a quiz at 11 o'clock. You can do it at 5 o'clock. You can do it at 4 in the morning. As long as you do it within the time that I tell you guys you're allowed to do it. Because after that time, that link will be inactive. So if you look at the description, for example, when I have this thing go down, 1 second, there we go. Notice how the description says the quiz isn't accessible until 8:10 and 9 a.m. and you have 30 minutes. The quiz is due at 11:59 on 8/11. After that time, the quiz will be inactive. When you click on the link after that time, you cannot go to the quiz. Okay, it's gone, and you get a 0 if you don't do it. And I noticed one person already did it. Shirley. What do you know? Aren't you a scholar? How did you do on the quiz, Shirley? Do you want to see your grade, or are you embarrassed? Okay, hold on.
No, I do not. No, I do not.
Okay. Okay. All right. Fair enough. Okay. So yeah, like I said, all your quizzes will be online. Okay. Please also read the descriptions too. Okay. So if it says, for example, round your percentages in the nearest tenth, it is going to be very particular about how you answer the quiz. Okay. So keep that in mind for sure. Okay. I create these quizzes. These are not quizzes that I'm finding online and giving it to you guys. I'm creating these. Okay. Just a heads up. So if you try to search for them, you're not, because it's coming from here. It's not coming from the web. Okay. Are there any questions on this?
Does it only change the names, like the wording, and then you just put the same numbers?
Can you elaborate, Blanca?
Like, let's say you get it online, but the only thing that you change is like what it says and not the numbers.
I believe so. Yes, I believe so. More than likely. So, like I said, be very pretentious. It is in a way case sensitive. The cool thing about this is you don't have to reduce your answers. So for fractions, for example, you don't have to reduce your fraction, because I do put the answer so that it's either reduced or non-reduced as an example. Okay, so like this example right here, if you leave it as a fraction, this answer could be a fraction where you don't reduce it, or a fraction where you need to reduce it. Either way, I type in the answer so it recognizes both. Okay, so just a heads up there. Okay, that'll be for every quiz and every test that you're going to do. Okay, are there any questions, any more questions besides Blanca's question? Okay, also notice how it says answers will be auto-submitted. Okay, if you don't put any answers in, okay, and you forget and time is up, that's it. You get a 0. Please put in answers, okay, for these quizzes, and then put the answers as you go along. Okay, that's really important, because if you don't and you submit it and you forgot to put answers in, you're going to get a 0. That's a guarantee, and I'm not going to have you guys redo it. Okay, because I'm not going to go back and forth with that. Okay, 30 minutes is enough time for a quiz. For your exams, it'll be 75 minutes. Okay, I haven't decided how many questions obviously for every test. I think for the first test, it'll be 15 questions, but it'll be 75 minutes. Okay, and you have 2 days to do the test. Okay, but 1 try. Any questions? Dennis, you look very happy to be here. Very happy to be here. Ecstatic. Heidi, you too. Teresita, I'm so glad I have you guys in the class. MacGregor, I've been waiting years for this to happen, by the way. Years to have MacGregor in class, and I'm finally gonna make that happen this year. So can't wait. All right. One more thing that I do want to go over also is Calendly. Okay. If you guys noticed on this right here, okay, if you guys want to schedule office hours, okay, you're going to click on the link, and I'll update that. I'll repost as the year goes along, and you have an option to click a 30-minute office hour with me. Okay, I get a notification that lets me know, like, hey, Shirley wants an office hour with me, with Teresita or whoever. Okay, you're going to click on that. Then you see my calendar. Okay, I'm available these days, right? 10th, this week, 10, 12, 13, 14. And it's going to update every day for a 7-day week. Okay, so for example, on the 17th, I will be available. When the 11th happens, you'll see the 17th available. So it's going to be updated up to the next week. Okay, when you click on the 10th, wow, kids already scheduled office hours. All right then. Okay then. All right, these are the only available times, 3:30, 4, and 4:30. Okay, so if you click on that, for example, and you type in, your name or whatever, and you confirm it, you are good to go. Okay, if you want to schedule office hours with your friends, just let me know, and then I'll send you guys a Zoom link. Okay, once I get the notifications, I'll send you guys Zoom links for them, and then we'll be up and running for office hours. Okay, are there any questions on this? Because now I have to see my Calendly over lunch. How about that? Okay. Any questions?
Not a question, but I like how you put take advantage of me on the classroom post.
Yes. Take advantage of me. Take advantage of what I want to do for you guys because I want to help you guys out. Okay. Take advantage. Also, if you have not, and I think everyone has, if you have not registered for Remind yet, please do so. Okay. I've been talking to one student in this class all weekend, and she's been the one that's been, well, I gave up the gender. That person's been the one that's been texting me back and forth about updates that I need to do for Google Classroom, okay, as an example. But if you have any questions, just hit me up in, on Remind, and I'll get you right away. I'll respond to Remind a lot quicker, actually, compared to emails, as I've noticed when I compare that to last year, okay? Are there any questions? Okay. So, like I mentioned, okay, your test on Monday is going to cover 15 questions on these 8 chapters, okay? So, we can look at every chapter one by one, and then you guys can tell me, oh, do this question or do that question if you guys want to see the work. Okay, remember I've got the solutions there already posted. Okay, so right now, today and Wednesday is basically us talking about, getting you guys ready for Monday. Okay, so let's look at chapter 1. Okay, and like I mentioned, I'm allowed to write on this, by the way. Okay, so let me click on this. There it is. Let me drag this over. Oh, come on, drag. And boom. Okay, linear equations and inequalities. Okay, so this is where you guys take out your quaderno. Okay, aquí está su, wow. Okay, here's your notebook. Use your notebook to take down notes. Okay, or if you have any questions, do so. Okay, so I'm not going to go over every question one by one. Okay, but I'm going to scroll. Okay, and then you guys tell me if you guys want me to do the work for it. Okay, so looking at 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3. You guys want to see me do any of these? Yes or no? Don't be shy either. If you want me, if one person says yes, I will do it. And we'll talk as a class on how to approach this. So are we good? Yay or nay? Let me pull up the chat too. Okay, I see a thumbs up. Sorry, I'll keep scrolling down. Here we go. All right, 1-4. Standard form. You guys feel comfortable?
Yeah, can you do 1-4?
I would be more than happy to do 1-4 for sure. Okay, so remember that standard form, and I'm going to blow your minds out. See, notice how I can write, blah, 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 right? By the way, I am recording these lectures, so when we leave, whatever we do, you can see later. Okay, I'm going to post those videos on YouTube later on in the day. Okay, so just a heads up. Okay, so 1-4. Our goal is to rewrite it like this. Wow, that's terrible. AX plus BY equals C. So your goal is to have X and Y on one side and then the constant on the other side, okay? So by looking at this problem here, what do you guys tell me what the first approach would be? What do you think would be the first thing that we would need to do? I see a 1. Well, you can just say it, or, I mean, I'm not going to call your name. You can just say it. What do you want to do, Blanca?
Find the common denominator. Well, that's what I would, because you have the denominator, one for 3 and the other one for 5. So I would me personally.
That
me.
that is true in a way, but here's the issue that I have with that. Notice how there's the fraction that you want to get rid of is inside of parentheses. So we need to get rid of that parentheses first before we do that. So notice this negative 4 right here. Let's distribute that first, and then let's do what you want to do, Blanca. Okay, so let's do that first. Okay, I have 3x. No, that's fine, but I'm glad that you recognize that though, because that is important because we want to get rid of the fractions. Okay, Blanca, very good job. So we have 3x minus 4x plus 8 over 3y equals 4 over 5x minus 7x minus 3. Not 7x, but 7y. And notice how I distributed the negative, right? 7y minus 3. Good. So now let's do what Blanca wants us to do. Okay, so the common denominator for 3 and 5, what would it be?
15.
15. Okay. All right, so when we distribute the 15 to everything, okay, the fractions now officially go bye-bye. Okay, so now I got 45x, okay, minus 60, minus 60x.
Mister, why don't you just
Yes.
take out the x's from one side, like the 3x minus 4x, and just make it into x, and it's going to be negative 15x, instead of just writing 45x
Okay.
minus 15x.
Okay, that's fine. We can do that also. But I like that idea too, Blanca, but I'm going to do it this way. I'm not saying that yours is incorrect, right? The thing is, Blanca, you did recognize that I can combine like terms, right? Then multiply by 15. Okay, I'm choosing instead to multiply by 15, then simplify a little more after that. Okay, but I do like your idea anyway. Okay, I have 15 divided by 3, which is 5. 5 times 8, that's 40. Okay, and then 15 divided by 5, which is 3. 3 times 4 is 12. That's 12x, actually. And then minus 15 times 7, that is going to be 85. And then minus 45. Okay, now let's do what Blanca wants us to do. Combine like terms. So yes, I am going to get the negative 15x. Okay, negative 15x. And then plus 40y equals 12x minus 85y minus 45. By looking at this now, okay, wow, that's a terrible 8. By looking at this now, okay, on the right side, what is the only term that's going to stay on the right side?
The x.
We want to write it like this.
Don't you need your x on that side though? Or you? Oh wait, yeah.
No,
You're just gonna.
I painted.
Oh wait, you're right. Sorry, it's because the computer.
The
Myra,
right side.
take your time,
Would
Myra.
the right side be like no variable?
Yes. A very slow Myra is saying that the right side does not have a
you
variable,
hear
right?
me?
There's a constant. You're
You're
breaking
lagging.
up a little bit. Yeah, you be lagging, Myra. You be lagging. Okay. Now, what Myra is saying is that there should not be a variable on the right side. Okay. So out of these 3 terms on the right side, what is the only term that does not have a variable?
Negative 45.
Exactly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move 12x and negative 85y to this side. Okay, the 12x by subtraction, the negative 85y by addition. Okay, so now my final answer, negative 27x, 40 plus 85, that's 125y equals negative 45. There you go, standard form. Smiley faces for everybody. Yes, exactly, Shirley. Okay, any questions on this? Teresita, you look either neutral or you might have a question.
I can't see what you're writing. It looks really blurry.
Okay, let me zoom in a little bit. Does this help?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll zoom in a little bit more then for the lectures. Okay.
Thank you.
And we should, of course, anything for you, Teresita. Okay, so that covers that question there. Okay, I see you guys are still taking notes. I'll wait a few more seconds. Your screen looks blurry, sir. My bad, Teresita. I didn't realize that you're sending something in the chat, and that was like 4 minutes ago. My bad. All right, I'm gonna scroll, okay, and you guys stop me, okay? 1-5, 1-6, okay, 1-7. Okay, 1-8.
Can we do 1.8 or
1.8 or 1.8, yeah, 1.8. Okay, so according to a basic Euclidean geometry theorem, the diagonals of a parallelogram bisect each other, okay? Demonstrate this theorem for a parallelogram, okay? While this does sound confusing, okay, the key to this is basically finding out the midpoints, okay? And what we want to do, okay, is if we can find the midpoints of these two lines right here, AC and DB, they need to intersect each other, and obviously they need to be exactly the same, okay? So we need to find the midpoint. Okay, so in order for us to find the midpoint, let's talk about the midpoint of AC, okay? So the midpoint of AC. Actually, let's do this. The midpoint of AC, like that, okay? So we're gonna add and subtract, sorry, we're gonna add the A's, the X's, divide by 2, add the Y's, divide by 2, okay? So it's gonna be 11 plus 2, divided by 2 for the X, and then 4 plus 1, divided by 2. And as a fraction, it's gonna be 13 over 2, and then 5 over 2, okay? Now let's find the midpoint of BD. And to do that, okay, so let's try this here. As I divide by 2, what X's am I adding for the BD? Can someone tell me the X's that I'm adding?
6 and 7.
Thank you, lad, you Myra. 6 and 7. And then for the Y's, what 2 Y's am I adding for BD?
4 and 1.
Thank you. You don't have to look confused, Jasmine. You got to say it with confidence. 4 and 1, Mr. Nunez, because I know this. Boom. Just like that. 4 and 1. Okay. And when you add these up, okay, you are going to get 13 over 2 and then 5 over 2, right? And notice how these are exactly the same. So therefore, we're verifying that it's a parallelogram, okay? Because when they intersect, the midpoint is exactly the same for the diagonals, for that there. Okay, any questions on this? Okay, I see you guys taking notes or, you know, writing stuff down. Remember that, okay, I am going over this, but this is the way that I would go over it, okay? What I've got posted also are the answers to this, okay? So I'm gonna have both the white box, and I recommend for the white box, by the way, guys, if you guys wanna do it on your own, like Myra was, I just said her name, how a student was doing over the weekend, right? Use that white box stuff to do it on your own. If you don't get it, go back to it, okay? Go back to the actual answers from the text, from the book, and then compare it, okay? Or look at the work and see the way they did it. If you have questions, bring it up to me after the fact, okay? All right, so that covers that right there. All right, 1.9. 1.10. Okay, 1.11. Okay, 1.12, 1.13, 1.14, 1.15,
1.13.
1.13. Okay, right, good question. Okay, here's my question to you guys. Okay, X has to be between what two numbers? If you look at this inequality here, x has to be between what two numbers?
6 and negative
6.
1.
Exactly, 6 and negative 1. Very good. So if I were to draw a number line, boop, and I don't care the numbers in between or on the outside of it, I know for a fact that between negative 1 and 6, that the x has to be between those, okay? So my answers are going to be between these, okay? One other thing to note, by the way, if you see that inequality, there's going to be a hole over that number, okay? And if there's a line underneath it, you're going to include it, okay? However, notice this right here, okay? Notice how it says interval notation. That's a number line. Interval notation means you're using kind of like in a way ordered pairs to say what the solution is, okay? So we know x has to be between these two numbers, negative 1 and then 6. But the parentheses and the brackets indicate if we're including that number at the endpoints or not, okay? Negative 1, notice how there's no line underneath the inequality. So that means I'm gonna put a parentheses, okay? So that means right here, do not include. So do not include, okay? Whereas the 6, notice how there is a line underneath that inequality. I'm gonna put a bracket there, okay? That means you are including that number. So if I do ask interval notation, and usually it will, you're gonna be doing a lot of this, by the way. Interval. Wow, I don't wanna write that because I said the word interval. That means include, that's what I meant to say. Okay, this is really important, okay? It's interval notation, we use a lot in calculus, okay? And notice how I forgot to take this off. It says use a bracket for the inequality for when you see these. If you don't see them, then if there's no line underneath, you're gonna put a parentheses, and you're also gonna use it for infinity and negative infinity. Okay, you're also gonna use parentheses for infinity and negative infinity. So let's actually go backwards one, let's do 1-12, okay? X has to be smaller than 10. If I draw a quick number line, here's 10. Is X smaller or bigger than 10?
Smaller?
Good, okay? So X has to be smaller than 10. If I want to write this in interval notation, I'm saying that 10 is the biggest number, okay? And notice how there's no line underneath it, so I'm going to put a parentheses. But any number smaller than 10 is going to work. And it could be any number. That means it's going to be negative infinity. And I put a parentheses next to the negative infinity. Okay, any questions? Comments or concerns? Okay, all right. So let's move on here. All right, 114, 115, it's basically getting X by itself, and you're paying attention to what's it called? Your answers, okay? We already did 116. 116 was this. This is by graphing it, right? Because you're just drawing a number line, so that's very straightforward. Okay, same thing with 117, 118 also. In a way, but I'll let you guys think about it. 119. Okay, moving on. 120. Okay, 121, 122. Oakley dokley. 123, 124.
Can you do 124? I want to check in my hand, like, if there's
Okay.
an easier way compared to mine.
So first things first, okay, before I solve for this, my question to you guys, when you see absolute value,
25, sorry, 1.25.
okay, irregardless, they're both the same, okay? When you see absolute value, how many answers are you gonna, well, how many answers are you gonna have? 2. Very good, Ariana, right? You're gonna have a positive and a negative, okay? So in order for that to work, in order to apply the absolute value part, I need to get the absolute value piece by itself, okay? So I'm gonna rewrite the problem, and you guys need to walk me through how to get the absolute value by itself. Okay, treat the inequality like an equation. Okay, we're not changing it to equals. Okay, that's not what we're doing. Oops. So what's my first step to get the absolute value by itself? What's my first step?
Going to be the 2. Sorry.
If I do that, I have to divide everything by 2. And if I divide 5 by 2, that's not going to be fun. Let's keep everything as integers. What's easier than dividing by 2?
Add the 5.
Yes, we're going to add the 5. So now I've got 2, absolute value of x minus 7 is less than or equal to 4. What's my next step?
Now you do the 2.
Exactly. Yes, Blanca. Yes, lagging Myra. We divide by 2. Okay. It'd be a fun year for me lagging all year, Myra. And 2. Now, here's the key. When you see absolute value and it's by itself, you have 2. Okay. Myra, come on. Well, if you want to type, you can type it too. It's the same thing. Okay. You can type it the same thing. Okay. So when you see absolute value, you're thinking 2. But here's the kicker. Okay. The first inequality is the positive number. The second one is going to be negative, but you've got to flip the inequality. Okay? Got to flip the inequality. So now our goal is to get x by itself. X has to be smaller than 9, and then x has to be bigger than 5. Okay? So x, if I draw and I'm going to draw them both. X has to be smaller than 9. Okay? But then x has to be bigger than 5. That's what I wanted to do, right here, 5. So that means x has to be between 5 and 9. So guess what? When I draw one big number line, here's 5 and 9. I'm going to put holes around this. X has to be bigger than 5, but it's got to be smaller than 9. I'm going to shade in between. Just because how the inequalities ended up to be. Okay. Now, if I give you guys a question like this on the computer, you're going to use interval notation instead. Okay. So for the interval notation for this, we are going to include brackets for these 5 and 9. There you go. That's what it would be. Any questions? I feel like the Brady Bunch right now, right? I'm seeing all you guys. Like, I'm just waiting for Alice to show up in fact, like Shirley on my screen, you're actually in the middle. So technically you would be Alice from the Brady Bunch. Have you guys ever seen the Brady Bunch? Have you guys ever heard of the Brady Bunch? I know Myra has, because I love how she loves old school stuff. None of you guys have ever heard of the Brady Bunch.
I have, but I haven't watched it.
Okay, if you haven't watched it, that's fine. As long as you've heard of it, Joshua, then you have my respect. Everyone else, goodness gracious, guys. Goodness gracious. Myra, what are we going to do with these people? What are we going to do with these people? All right, that covers 125. All right, moving on. We did already 126, 127. Moving on. 128.
Wait, Dennis had a question. Am I still lying? Dennis
Sorry about that.
messaged me. He said, shouldn't it be -7 and +7?
For which one? For 125?
Yeah. Oh no, Dennis, he got shy, so he messaged me.
Got it. Got it. You guys see the number that I'm writing down, and you guys see the prompt, Dennis. Okay. All right, let's go back to scrolling. All right, we're at 128 or 129 also. Okay. Now, if I say use a method using elimination or whatever, I don't care because it's online. As long as you get the answer, that's all that matters. Make a difference. 129. You guys good? Yay or nay? Okay, I'm seeing mainly yay. Okay. 130. All right, keep going. 131.
That 130.
130. Because of the fraction, huh? Right? Because of the fraction. You freaked out. All right. Let's get rid of the fraction.
Not really, but yeah.
Okay, let's get rid of the fraction. In order for us to get rid of the fraction, what are we going to multiply the bottom equation by? What am I going to multiply the bottom equation by to get rid of the fraction? Thank you, Mara, with your fingers, right? 3, very good. So if I multiply the bottom fraction by 3, I get x minus 6y equals 24, and then x minus 6y equals 24. Huh, I got the same equation both top and bottom. So when I subtract these, that goes bye-bye, that goes bye-bye, that goes bye-bye. 0 equals 0. When you solve a system of equations and you have two numbers that are exactly the same, what type of solution are we going to have? Either type it or
Lines overlap.
they overlap each other,
Lines
yes.
overlap.
Since they overlap each other, let's talk about the type of solution that would be.
Infinitely many solutions?
Yes, infinite, yes, infinite. So it's infinite, right? Infinite solutions. Okay, infinite solutions. Okay, any questions on 130? All right, we're 40 minutes in. We got 20 minutes to go. We'll probably end like 5 minutes early. Okay, let's keep it going, kids. 1-31. Oakley dokley. 1-32. Okay, 1-33. That one's going to take forever. I don't want to go over that one, and I'm not going to ask you that because in calculus, 3 variables, that's more third year in college. That's third year calculus. We're not going to deal with third year calculus. Okay, that covers all of chapter 1 in a nutshell. So if you guys feel comfortable with algebra, then you're in the right place. All right. Do you guys want me to do chapter 2 or do you guys? Because if you take a look at the chapter titles, okay. So let me show you guys the titles here real quick. If you guys have not seen it yet, and notice how someone also did the quiz. Who else did the quiz? Oh, Teresita. How'd you do, Teresita? Thumbs up or thumbs down?
Great.
Good. I'm glad. All right. Perfect. All right. So if we take a look at the classwork real quick, right? I did chapter 1 just to kind of go over everything, right? If you look at the titles, I'll show you all the topics that you need to have an idea of, right? Polynomials would be chapter 2 for this. Fractions and rational expressions. A lot of this. We'll be doing a lot of this, and especially with graphic. We are going to be graphing in a way, but a lot less than you think. Functions. Okay. Describing domain and range. That's going to come up a lot. Okay. Functions. If we keep going to chapter 5, right? Log and exponential functions kind of comes up in a way, but more so in the calculus part of it. Okay. Chapter 6. Conic sections, not important. I might ask you guys 1 or 2 questions on it, but the parabolas one for sure we're going to go over. And my favorite, trigonometry. That covers chapter 7 and 8. Okay. You definitely need to know the graphs of sine and cosine, and you definitely need to know the unit circle. Okay. More so the first quadrant. I'm going to ask you guys a few questions on that from the first quadrant, especially solving, okay? And then trigonometric graphs, identities, and equations. I'm not going to ask you guys a lot of like secant graphs, cosecant graphs, but more so you guys help me out describing like the sine graph and the cosine graph, because that's going to be very important, okay? Do you guys want me to go over chapter 2, or do you guys want me to go over a specific topic?
I have a question.
I have an answer, Miguel. Yes.
You're having one of the classwork is like all the reviews of like each chapter, and then there's another one where you're gonna like show your work, right? Or you're like explaining some of them, or
good question. Yes. Thank you for answering that question. So, like I said, these right here, it's all the same stuff. The first 8 chapters, okay, or the first 8 chapters I gave you guys as a white box over the weekend, and these are all blank, right? However, if I click on chapter 7 for this one right here, all the work is done for you. So use that to kind of go back and forth. I gave you guys white boxes, okay, in particular, so that if you guys look at the question, I want you guys to at least try it. And if you're stuck, just go to the answer key for it, and then you'll see the work there in the explanation. Okay, I'm going to do that for the entire school year. But when I lecture, though, I am going to be talking about the white box stuff, because that'll be my lecture in particular. Okay, more or less. Okay, so I'm going to go over the white box stuff, and then when we're done, you can use the stuff without the white box to kind of go over stuff on your own if you guys get stuck, besides my explanation. Okay, and then the homework will come out of the workbook that's separate from this. Okay, any questions? Okay, so which chapter was with the radians? I got lost there and gave up. That's chapter 7 and chapter 8. Mainly chapter 7 or chapter 8, because especially with solving for the equations. Okay, I was gonna save that for tomorrow actually, because I know there'll be some questions on those. So we're gonna go over a lot of that tomorrow. Okay. Okay. So I do want to have you guys at least go over those on your own, or not tomorrow, but Thursday. Okay. Chapter 4, I think I do need to go over a lot. And that does talk about functions. So let's look at that real quick. Yeah, functions. Boom. White box, chapter 4. So I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to zoom in. Function notation is really important. Okay. When you see f of x, what variable automatically comes to mind? You can use your hands.
Y.
Thank you. Or you can say it. Y. Y also means f of x, right? Y also means g of x. Some kids get confused of, well, let's solve for x, but the f is next to it, or the y is next. No. F of, g of, h of, that is the name of the function, okay? So like r of x, for example, is the name of the function of what it represents, okay? When there's a number inside, you're plugging in that number. Okay, you're plugging in that number. Okay, so let's go over all the descriptions here. Why is it frozen? What is going on? Okay, let's try this again. Let's leave. Let's load it again. Okay, that made no sense. All right, I'm gonna zoom in. Oh, that's why, because I have to skip back and forth. Oh, come on, how much? There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna start like this. Okay. Is the relation a function? In order for something to be a function, in order for ordered pairs to be a function, the x's cannot what? Confuse Shirley. Oh, she's gone now. The x's cannot be what? In order for something to be a function, they cannot repeat. Very good job, Myra. So let's look at 4-1. Is this a function? Look at only the x's. Do the x's repeat? Very good job, Ariana. Very confidently, she's saying they don't repeat, right? If you notice here, the x's were -3, 4, and 8. They don't repeat, so this is a function. Okay. 4-2, let's go over now 4-2 real quick. Okay, find real numbers for m and n such that the following is not a function. Okay, n as in Nunez can be whatever it wants. But what are the 5 numbers m as in Mary or Myra cannot be? M cannot be what? What 5 numbers? -4, 2, 0, and 10. Oh, there were 4 numbers, not 5. Yes, those are the only 4 numbers that cannot be. -4, -2, 0, and 10. Boom. That's it. Anything else would make it a function. Does not matter. N can be whatever it wants. The y's are allowed to repeat 1,000,000 times, or whatever times it wants. M cannot repeat though. The x's cannot repeat. Okay. All right. Any questions on 4-2? All right, so I'm gonna keep scrolling down here. All right, I'm gonna go to 4-3 now. Do you guys know what 1-to-1 means?
No.
Okay, Simply put 1x to 1y. That means it's like marriage, right? One man to one woman, right? Or that's actually politically correct now, one person to one person, right? If one person goes to two people, we have questions, all right? So the x and y can only join together once and that's it. So the numbers cannot repeat, period, okay? So it says find a real number for C that ensures that the following ratios can be 1 to 1. This means C cannot be 4 numbers. What is C not allowed to be? Because C is in the Y part. What are the 4 numbers C are not allowed to be?
If C is Y, can't it be anything?
Remember,
Oh, no,
1
never
to
mind.
1.
The 1 to 1. Never mind.
1 to 1. That means 1x can only go to 1y, right? So out of all these numbers here, or out of all the C's, what are the 4 y's C cannot be?
9.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Very good, Teresita. Keep going, Blanca. You're in the zone.
4, negative
Uh-huh.
13, and negative 6.
Very good, right? Those are the 4 y's that it cannot be. Because if it is, then it's not 1 to 1. Because -2 can go to 9, for example, but -1, if it also goes to 9, it's not 1 to 1, right? Because 9 goes to both -1 and -2. But we don't want that to happen, right? Okay, that covers 4-3. All right, any questions on 4-3? Oakley dokley. I'm glad. I'm excited. I've been waiting for this for a long time. And once I found this material, I figured that this is going to work, I have you guys now. I'm reeling you guys in, and I'm teaching you guys math. I'm making this happen. I'm super excited. That and also the fact that my Suns and Coyotes are still in the playoffs, which is also why I'm in a really good mood too. Hence the background. All right, 4-4. 4-5. Do you guys know what that means, by the way? F plus G. What are you going to do with F and G? With those two functions, what are you going to do?
You add them and then I
You
guess
add-
multiply by 10.
No, you don't.
No?
You
Okay.
you add the functions and then you plug in 10. Okay, that's what you're doing there. Okay, so f of g of 10 means that when you add the functions and then you're going to plug in that number after the fact. Okay, so if you take a look at 4-4 here, okay, you're taking the answers of when you plug in 10. Okay. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Okay, so it's f of 10 added with f of, not f of, g of 10. Okay. I'm actually glad that we're doing this now because now we're trying to define what f and g of 10 are both are. So when x is 10 for the f function, what is the answer when x is 10? -6. Very good. So this will turn into -6. And then what for 10 for g, what is the answer when x is 10 for g? -5. Very good. So -6 plus -5, boom, -11. Everyone wins. Okay. Now, if it's for ordered pairs, you have to find out what the answer is when x is whatever number. It's same thing for g also. That's what that means. But if you're given two equations and it says f of g of 7, for example, or f of g or whatever, add the functions first and then plug in the number. Or you can put the two functions together with an addition symbol in between and then plug in the number. Your choice. So for example, let's do 4-5. I'm not going to give you guys the answer, but what I want to do instead is set it up. When you see those two together, what are you doing with those two functions? You're going to what? Multiply. Very good. So the way it's going to be set up, it's going to be x squared plus 4 multiplied by x plus 4 squared. And what am I plugging in for x? -2. Very good. So now I've got -2 squared plus 4 multiplied by -2 plus 4 And there you go. If you don't want to do all that math, guess what you guys can use? You can use good old Desmos. Let's actually use this one instead. Let's use this one. Let's do that. Good old Desmos. All right. So the way you see it is the way that you guys can type it in, by the way. Okay. So parentheses, another parentheses, -2 squared. Okay. Let's go back to this, plus 4. Okay. Oops. Plus 4 multiplied by parentheses -2 plus 4. Wow, that's terrible. All right, squared. Boom. The way you see it is the way you can type it in. The answer, when you simplify it, is 32. I'll have Desmos, by the way. Desmos will be your best friend. Okay, if you don't want to do all that work, you can use Desmos. Everything you see in one shot, it'll do it all for you. Okay, so the answer for that, after all that's said and done, 32. Okay, any questions on 4-5? I want to go over one more thing before we leave. Okay, is it okay if I scroll up? Okay, all right. Let me see if it comes up. This. All right. How can I do this? Let me just zoom out. I can just do that. That works. No, this one. This is the one I wanted to go over. Okay, 4-7. Let's look at this. Looks like fog, right? The word fog. But here's what this means, okay? This means G into F. And then this F into G, okay? And what this is asking is, tell me the function, okay? When you put G into F, okay? Notice how F of X is X squared, G of X is 2X plus 5. So let's do the F of G of X first, okay? So F O G of X. And I like using this instead. I'm actually going to erase this. I'm not a big fan of this because this actually makes things a little more clear. Because this means now you're taking that G of X function and putting it into the F of X function, okay? So this whoop, goes in here. So it's parentheses 2x plus 5 squared. Whereas for the G of F of X, which is the same as this right here, okay? I'm gonna take this and put it into here, okay? So it's 2 parentheses, because the X represents this now, X squared, close parentheses, plus 5. And there you go, okay? That is important. The notation is super important, okay? A lot of students get confused by that, okay? And you won't be the only ones, obviously. If I'm sure this is not the first time you guys have seen this before, but I know that for some it could be confusing, okay? When you see anything inside another function, take that, put it into the other function. That's very important, okay? Any questions on this? Okay. Looked like Shirley might have been clicking her microphone. Not sure if she was going to, or the other Shirley was about to like reach her hand over and maybe click that microphone possibly. No, maybe. All right. So like I said, the reason why I say it's a self-teaching class is because, at least for this week, right? You guys are brushing up on your math skills. I'm not going to go over every single question, right, of what you guys need to go over, because on this AP Calc test, it can ask you on anything. So in a way, I'm training you guys on you guys kind of studying on your own. So I'm giving you guys all the material, okay? I'll give you guys the answers to all the material that I'm giving you guys. Please use a Remind app if you have any questions. Schedule office hours also if you have any questions too, okay? I'm glad to have you guys. It's like I said, it stinks that I cannot see you guys physically, but I cannot wait for when that day happens, that it'll be like we never left, all right? Any questions, comments, or concerns? So we just revealed the check for the test on Monday, not the quiz, but the test. Yes, we're gonna go over more stuff on Thursday from this stuff as well, okay? Don't forget also that aside from this also, that I gave you guys other practice material too, okay? So the calculus for D, which is the calculus for dummies book that I also got, okay? There's review problems on those too. And then this right here. This will be the textbook that you guys are gonna read. And for you guys to go over a chapter, we're going to use this. And then you guys are going to do that on your own. And then I'll go over the humongous book of calculus, which is going to be this stuff right here, the subject review. That's what I'm going to use to kind of go over the material. And there'll be white box, and we're going to go over that together. Okay. But the reading will come from this, the CIG textbook material. That's going to be your reading stuff, more or less. Okay. All right. We are good to go. Everyone's present. If you have any questions, use Remind or let me know via the Calendly app. Okay. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys all over again physically. But until then, I'll see you guys on Thursday. Appreciate the love, guys. Take care.
Bye, mister. Have a good day.
Likewise. Take care, Blanca.